everybody, thank you so much for checking out this video. It's your girl LB. Welcome to my channel, Watch With Me LB, where I give you fun, fresh, and funny rants, reviews, and recaps on my favorite movies and TV shows. Baby, we are here to talk about Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was, every time you blink your eyeballs, it was gonna be Charlie Sheen up in there at least 1 to 5 times. That man was literally everywhere. He made 47 movies a year. He was on a Pepsi commercial. He was on Jay Leno, Letterman, Conan, whoever that was that came on after all them people. That man was everywhere. Everything I know about Charlie Sheen was against my will. That man made me know who he was. Let me say this before we go ahead and get into it. If you or a loved one have a litigious spirit on yourself, that means you want to file a lawsuit and you want to say, you know, this is defamation or whatever. Go ahead, bro. Okay? Don't come over here with all of that. Everything I'm saying is from this documentary, and everything is alleged. Don't come over here with all of that. I have watched both episodes of AKA Charlie Sheen, and what stands out to me the most, this is what happens when you have everything at your disposal. Nobody tells you no, you don't have to face consequences, and people just reward you for your bad behavior. So go ahead and set the mood, right? To let you know what you're about to get into. Charlie is telling a story about how he was getting drunk on a plane. He was either on his honeymoon or had just married a wife or something like that. And he said, you know what, I need a little something to take the edge off. He said he went back and helped himself to about 5 or 6 shots and ended up talking with the captain. The captain said, yeah, we could take a picture, because Charlie wanted to take a picture. He said, let me put your jacket on. And the captain said, yeah, you can put my jacket on. He said, let me send it over the top and put the hat on. He said, oh yeah, you can put my captain's hat on. I ain't have to get $200,000 worth of debt and practice for years and years to only be able to wear this exclusive uniform. But go ahead, Charlie Sheen, bro. He said, you know what? Chef's kiss, will send it over the top. Let me sit in the cockpit in the chair and pretend like I'm flying. Have at it, my boy. So Charlie said, you know what? This is really cool. Is it on autopilot? And the man said, flip, not no more. You flying and not Charlie? So you mean to tell me because I memorized lines, regurgitated them back in a believable way, that now I get to just fly a plane willy-nilly? Listen, I'm doing the wrong things in my life. That's what I'm saying. That's also another lesson that I took from this documentary. I've been doing things wrong the whole time, okay? I've been trying to be a law-abiding citizen and not do crack and just, you know, mind my business and pay my taxes. What they told me, girl, shut up. That's what they told me. I ain't never flew a plane, okay? I digress. So, like in most documentaries, we get to hear about baby Charlie. He had the cord around his neck, and he was born with no signs of life until the doctor, you know, slapped him on the behind, and he came on back to life. And he suspects that traumatic entry into the world kind of maybe refigured his brain or did something to him to kind of hardwire him to have this lust for fucked up stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I can't call it, child. I barely passed biology. He was born to Martin Sheen and his mama, who is, the parents not present in the documentary. Now that gave me a little bit of pause. Maybe his mama and his daddy just didn't feel like it. We do have his older brother, Ramon Estevez, that's present in this documentary, as well as 2 of his 5 children, 2 out of 3 of his ex-wives, and a childhood friend that we're gonna talk about him in a second. And we also have Sean Penn, who is also problematic, okay? Hey, all I did was watch Hard Copy and Inside Edition, okay? That's all I did. That's all I got. That's all I know. I was also on the blogs back in the day. They had told me a bunch of stuff, so, you know, because his dad was an actor and actively making movies at, you know, when he was a kid, he and his siblings and friends from the neighborhood and school would make these movies, and they were inspired by their dads. The looming presence of Martin Sheen is very much present in this documentary. We just didn't see Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin was at his house and he said, I want to be removed from this narrative. And I said, listen, Mr. Martin, you go ahead, baby. You reserve the right. You reserve the right. I ain't never heard nothing bad about Mr. Martin. It talks about how when Martin Sheen was making Apocalypse Now, that he was struggling with substances. It was a lot of stuff happening. He also had a whole ass heart attack, and that man wasn't a man of age to have a heart attack. So that, you know, really tore Mr. Martin up, and he had some physical things, and, you know, but he was still a present dad. Usually when you have these introspective documentaries where people talk about the difficult times that they had and the things that they've overcome, you kind of get a little bit of something about where this could have started, where this stemmed from. We really didn't really get that here. They just, you know, he just said he was smoking weed, and then the next thing you know, he was a full-blown crackhead. Like, it was like a boop, boop. Like, they didn't have like a, no, it was gradual. I mean, it was a progression. It kind of alluded to his dad having substance abuse issues, to him having substance abuse issues, but they didn't really link them in any way that was measurable to me. Comment down and let me know if I maybe missed something or if you caught it, because I ain't catch it. That's always what I'm interested in when people share their stories, is what do you think the catalyst was, or was it anything at all? Like, did you just try drugs one day and then you just was hooked? Like, what was the thing? I just felt like since we had a family member there, it would have been cool for us to get some of that information in the story, but we didn't, and that's a choice. That's fine. At this point in the documentary, we meet Tony Todd. Tony Todd is a friend from childhood that Charlie had met like on a baseball team, and they, you know, they were like buddies. Now, Tony Todd is an African-American gentleman, okay? He's the only black person in this whole ass documentary. When Charlie Sheen describes Tony Todd, he describes him by saying he is dependable and loyal and, you know, responsible, and, you know, one of the greatest people I ever met in my whole life, and one of my greatest friends. And I say pause. This is a person, yeah. This is not a Plymouth sedan. Like, he is not an AKC registered golden retriever. And then Tony Todd, the first words out of his mouth is, you know, everybody need a black friend, don't you? And I said, Tony, listen, this is my first time meeting you, sir. Pump them. Pump your brakes, okay? Because they had just described you like you was like a minivan. And then here you come smiling, talking about, you know, everybody need a black friend, don't you? In this documentary, and I'm jumping ahead, we see clips of Charlie in full-blown addiction. Tony Todd right there smiling, cheesed up, grinning. And I said, Tony, listen, if that's me, all right, and my friend has lost all color in his face, if I'm seeing my white friend don't have no color and is giving Halloween Fright Night ghoul in the face, I'm not gonna be standing there giving him knuckles. You can love somebody from a distance, yeah. You can go ahead and remove yourself from that situation, because baby, you're not gonna listen to me when I tell you to stop doing crack. You don't have to listen. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Call me when you sober up, my love. Tony was there the whole ass time. The whole ass time. So then we hear about Emilio, who again is not present. Emilio Estevez. I didn't know that Emilio had got on first before Charlie did. I thought because Charlie just, baby, was chewing. Emilio was making movies and Charlie hadn't gotten there yet. And he was kind of feeling like a little jealous. So he starts to, you know, go ahead and make movies. So he made this movie called like Grizzly 2, like Grizzly Bear Attack 2 or something like that, with Laura Dern and George Clooney, which is wild. So at the time of the movie, he was in the running to be Daniel in the Karate Kid movie. And we all know, you're the best around. And nothing's ever gonna give it up. I am the man who will fight for your honor. Baby, they ate down with that soundtrack. Do you hear me? But he was supposed to be Daniel, right? So his daddy said, listen, you told these people you was gonna go over there and make this Grizzly Bear 2 Attack in the Woods movie. You cannot give up on your word to go over here and be Daniel's sign. So Charlie said, all right, daddy, you an OG actor in the game. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to you. Child, I would have been so mad at my daddy, because why you made me go over here and make this dumbass Grizzly Bear movie? They had Pat Morita in here, daddy. Crazy. I would have been hot, boy. He was mad. Now, at this point, they tell us that he had a daughter that's my age. And I said, for real? God damn, he got an old ass. Like, he a grandfather. He got 3 grandchildren. He is being offered the role of random ass boy in the principal's office at the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one of the greatest 80s movies of all times, okay? He gets offered this role by Jennifer Grey, also known as Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner from Dirty Dancing. That was his friend, because they all run together, okay? If you're a regular ass person trying to get into Hollywood, baby, you don't stand a chance, okay? You literally have to come from the loins of somebody who already in Hollywood. God damn. Anyway, so he got the role, just he didn't even have to audition. Shit just be falling in the Charlie Sheen lap, child. We could all be so lucky, huh? But we not. All right. He got to go to the set and be at the set for like 6 o'clock. But he show up late. He show up at 7:30 because he hit the snooze button and then did nothing happen. And he just go in there and everybody was like, you know that he cute, Jay. He is very handsome, and you know who his daddy is. We gonna let it slide. It's all right. He got famous from literally being in a 3-minute scene at the end of a classic 80s movie. All right. So then we go into this weird, like, I don't know, I feel like they were stretching it maybe. And we spent about 5 minutes maybe in this documentary, which doesn't seem like a long time, but it's a long ass time in a 1 hour episode, talking about how he and his daddy played against Michael Jordan. He was really gassed up talking about how he beat Michael Jordan at the free throw line. And I'm thinking to myself, Carlos, my boy, do you think Michael Jordan had turned that gas on? Or do you think he just let you go ahead and win? So at this point, that's when the big bucks start rolling in. They just be handing stuff to Charlie, okay? Because he did Ferris Bueller, then he did Platoon, which I've never seen Platoon. While he was doing that, somebody say, hey bro, let me throw another little bone in your lap. Let me go ahead and give you Wall Street, which was a huge movie back in the day, baby. It was one of them slick ass, you know, when the white boys be having these slick back hair, you know what I'm saying? Like one of them kind of vibes. So not a, you know what I'm saying? And they're showing him with Princess Diana. They're showing him with goddamn Saturday Night Live people. Now he all of a sudden he in there with goddamn Richard Pryor and Patti LaBelle. He just in there now. So then he say he going to a party one night. He hears this person talking to this really cute girl, and it's Nick Cage, who again, that's somebody already. Okay, at this point in time, Nick Cage is an up-and-coming star, right? Like, this thing moonlighting, okay? That's like, we talking about like early days, okay? But he's also a Coppola. Like, his stage name is Nicolas Cage, but his government name is like Nicholas something Coppola. As in Francis Ford Coppola, as in, I already got it in the bag already, okay? So, like, again, comment down below and let me know what y'all think of Nepo babies, okay? I personally don't have a problem with Nepo babies per se. My problem with Nepo babies comes in when they try to act like they're not Nepo babies. Let's not act like you didn't get your first breakout role in a multi-billion-dollar movie because your mama and daddy wasn't who they was. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just give, like, John David Washington kind of energy. Also had the chops to back it up. You gonna be a Nepo baby, don't get out here embarrassing me. If people know me because I'm a good actress, don't get out here making me shame and then you can't act, okay? Now, I'm not no tea, no shade. I don't believe Charlie Sheen is a great actor. Charlie Sheen and Nicolas Cage through clips are talking about how they were on a flight one day and Nicolas Cage got on the intercom and was like, this is your captain speaking, y'all about to die. Don't play with me in no airplane, bro. I'm not afraid to fly. Like, I've flown my whole life. I'm literally in a cocaine in the sky, bro. Don't get on here and talk about you about to die and we were all about to go to the left, or we lost the wing fell off, or we out of gas. Don't play with me in no airplane. That's the last place you want to play. And the police were there to meet Nicolas Cage and Charlie Sheen when they got off the plane. But the police was like, y'all lucky I like y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. Don't y'all take over no plane intercom again here. And it was like, yeah, we ain't never gonna do it again. Whole time Charlie Sheen had a fucking eighth of cocaine strapped to his thigh. And I'm thinking, see, lack of consequences, bro. Maybe had they arrested his ass with that cocaine before he had jumped off the deep end, then maybe he wouldn't have got to the deep end in the first place. But no, didn't nobody want to tell Charlie nothing, child. I'm a firm believer in consequences, baby. Because listen, if you driving drunk and then you get behind the wheel and you kill me, not only should you have to deal with the long arm of the law, you gonna have to deal with me as a ghost. I will haunt you. I will ruin your life from the other side of the earthly plane. So now Charlie say he goes to his mama house one day because they say it's his daddy's birthday, and he pulls up and he hires a kite, okay? And his mama come to the gate and say, hey baby, how you doing? You all right? Look, do you have a gun on you? And he said, huh? Why would you ask me that? And so he go in the house, it's a whole ass intervention. Good. And his family has tried to help him for a long time. And of course, you know, when you deal with people who are in addiction, they ain't gonna do nothing they don't wanna do. And everybody read out their statements. His daddy said, come here, somebody on the phone for you. And it was Clint Eastwood talking about, you know, get her done, pal. You know, I don't know what the hell Clint Eastwood would say. He said something like Clint Eastwoody. You know what I mean? I don't know. Straighten up and fly right, bucko. Like, you know, like that kind of vibe. Okay, like if I don't want to do something I don't want to do, and you get Al Roker to call me on the phone and be like, Al, girl, listen, the sky is bright for you. The forecast is bright for your future. Don't do drugs no more. I'm gonna be like, thanks, Al, I appreciate that. Is that gonna move me to stop doing drugs? I don't believe so. No, I don't know, whatever. So they drop Charlie off at the rehab place, and he go in and he see a night lady at the desk, and he called this lady a gal in this documentary. And I was like, don't piss me off, Charlie, no, because he had said it was an older black lady, and I said, okay, if she older, how she gonna be a gal? Hello, what's going on? I don't like that. Gal as referring to a black woman, that got a whole different connotation for me in Louisiana. Maybe it don't mean the same thing for you in California, but down here in the deep south, if you call a black person gal, that means something. I knew he didn't mean nothing. You know, it wasn't that kind of vibe. So he get to the rehab and he said, girl, listen, Miss Gladys, I got somewhere to be. Okay, tomorrow I know I need to get this rehab thing going. I gotta kick it in gear. However, and I got to go to the Malibu beach, put your titties on a shelf bikini contest tomorrow. So listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write my name on this paper, okay? I'm gonna say, listen, if I don't get back here tomorrow by 8 a.m., I'm gonna give you a smooth $1 million. And Miss Gladys said, boy, I don't give a shit. I'm about to go home in 2 hours. Come if you want, don't if you want. I don't care. So he went to the put your titties on a shelf bikini contest and had a funky good time. He said, you know what? I'm thinking about Miss Gladys. Okay, I'm thinking about Miss Gladys. Miss Gladys gonna be so disappointed if I don't go back to that rehab. So he went to the rehab and he said Miss Gladys was like, shit, come in and sign this damn paper. Like, she was like aggravated that he had showed back up to the rehab. He came out of rehab and fell right into yet another multi-million-dollar movie deal offer of Hot Shots. Hot Shots was my jam, okay? I'm a goofball. Do you mean to tell me I get slapstick comedy that's not the Three Stooges or Dick Van Dyke or Jerry Lewis? Hell yeah, sign me up, bro. That's my kind of humor back in the day. I love Hot Shots, okay? And he said he went to the club one night and he saw all these baddies in the club and he was trying to talk to these baddies, but they was like really like, it was like they kept going over to this lady. So he was like, oh, okay, I got what's going on. Child, it was Heidi Fleiss. Comment down below and let me know if you remember Heidi Fleiss. Baby, that was a huge deal back in the day. Child, they done found Heidi Fleiss. I haven't seen Heidi Fleiss in 6 to 7 years. I said, where the hell y'all found? Child, Heidi got 933 parrots. She in a parrot sanctuary, or like she got a parrot like patch or something. I don't know. The lady had parrots with long feathers, no feathers, baby parrots, old parrots, black parrots. I said, girl, is this like a charity situation? They ain't tell us nothing about the parrot, child. I was like, you just want me to see this lady that I haven't seen in 40 years sitting in front of a room with buku pads. She was like, come on, y'all, come here. She was talking to them like they were her children. So I was assuming that, you know, she was in a relationship with the pet. Not like that. You know, I'm just saying, like, let me move on from the parrot, child. Now, he had rolled on Heidi because they said that he was doing something called pandering. So they said, listen, you want to go to jail for 3 years? No, cool. Tell me all the tea you got on Heidi so we can lock her ass up, okay? They just didn't want Heidi to tell all the tea because she knew where everybody was. She knew all the politicians and the conservative people who don't want you to like blink your eyes 2 times because you'll be a whore if you do that, okay? But meanwhile, they over there got 17 girlfriends, 3 mistresses, 4 outside kids, and a boyfriend. I didn't remember. I knew Heidi went to jail. I didn't know that lady had went to jail for 7 years. God damn, that's a long ass time. Again, he right smack dab in the heat of the fire, okay? He in the pot of boiling water. He hopped his ass right on out and rolled on that lady. She went to jail. He ain't nothing happened to him. I think he got like, I don't know, maybe community service. No consequences. He talked about how on the set of Money Talks, he had an 18-hour nosebleed. The man was hemorrhaging from his nose because he did so much booger sugar. Damn, that's wild. And he was on another movie that I don't remember the name of it. And he was so high, he was falling asleep in the middle of a take. And he said, you know what? My bad, that's unprofessional. I know just the thing to get me right on track. Go give me a cup of ice. Say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shove this ice cube up my ass and I'm gonna be right as rain and I'm gonna be ready to go. I say pause. Hold on, Carlos. Is that a real thing? Cause I don't know. I felt like, I don't know. I was like, are you sure? So like, I felt like you was just gonna be leaking out your ass and that was gonna be another problem. Or do you shove multiple ones up there? I don't know. But he said, baby, I was like, boop. Let's do it. Action. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Now we hear from Sean Penn, who is also another problematic person, okay? And I ain't gonna hold you. Sean Penn don't look too good. He starts to talk about how Charlie is just built different, okay? Because most people, when they be high on cocaine and drugs and alcohol and stuff, it's like a numbing. Like your yam, you know, you usually can't get it up. It usually don't be firm. It usually be like, you know, mashed sweet potatoes. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say the man couldn't get his dick hard, okay? I was trying to be cute with it, but they wasn't cute, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Most people couldn't get their yam hard, but Charlie could. So one day he said he get a call from this girl that he knows, and she was in like a little situation, and she called him for help. And so he pulled up to this sketchy ass place and went into this sketchy ass house and was like, hey, how y'all doing? I'm here to get Nicole. They got out of the situation. He took the lady to the house. Thank you for saving my life. I appreciate that real good. I'm a crackhead. And as a part of our, you know, community, we need to do crack. So if you want to get down, I'll go ahead and let you get down. So Charlie said, listen, I like your vibe, girl. Listen, we done been through something together. I'm gonna go ahead and try crack. She said, you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. Not only am I gonna let you try crack for the first time, I'm gonna give you a little BJ. He said, girl, that sounds like a plan to me. Let's do that. And so that's the first time he had crack. It just went all downhill from there. What you mean I'm getting a blowjob and doing crack at the same time? This is the best day of my life. He also wants us to know that crack is an inherently like sexual drug. You know, it just was a horny ass time. He was outside laying it low and spreading it wide. Charlie was a huge fan of cocaine and all of its forms. And so one day I don't know if he got a hot dose or if maybe he was just, you know, it was too much or his body was like, bro, enough is a fucking enough. He ended up ODing. So his daddy ended up making a statement in front of the press. Charlie said, excuse me, bro, you ain't asked me if you could tell all the people my business. So then after that, of course, he went back to doing what he was doing, and his daddy said, what you're not gonna do is make me shame. He called the police and asked the police to go arrest his son for use of drugs or whatever. I say pause. Can you do that? Because if that's the case, then why don't everybody who got a drug addicted somebody do that? That's what I was doing. I was like, why? Because I do remember how his daddy called the police on him, but it was for physically assaulting his girlfriend at the time. He had to go, he got arrested, but then he got like a $3,600 fine, which is basically 52 cents to him. And I was like, again, bro, no consequences. So they took Charlie to rehab, and Charlie said, I'm gonna go ahead and sleep this off, but when I wake up, bitch, I'm getting high again. Because he eventually just walked outside and was like, hey, limo driver, can you bring me some smack, please? And he was like, yeah, I bet. I'm gonna meet you outside in about an hour and a half. And then he just got drugs and was getting high in the damn rehab. Addiction is literally my nightmare for myself or for anybody I know. It's like getting caught in a quicksand, but you also underwater, but you also in a bear trap, and you also deaf, blind, can't communicate, and have no control over your bodily functions, all at the same time. That's what I think of when I think of like addiction. Bless anybody who is watching this, who has dealt with addiction or who has a loved one who's dealing with addiction, because that shit is the fucking pits. And I just hate that that's even a thing. This is the thing that pissed me off, okay? So he had to rehab. Charlie said, my bad. Listen, I know that I had just smoked crack in this place. I'm so sorry about that. It won't happen again. The Bulls is playing the Jazz, okay? Michael Jordan at the top of his game. I gotta see the game. I know I just broke literally all the rules of the rehabilitation center. They say, you know what? Okay, we'll let you watch it. Why would you do that? Why would you let him have a privilege? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's all I kept thinking about through this whole documentary. Who out here was handing consequences out? Nobody. Why would you do that? You gonna tell Michael Jordan to bring him a pizza and they can sit down and watch the highlight reel afterwards too? What the fuck? And he get out of rehab and his daddy goes to pick him up. He go to the baseball field and they have a game, and so he asking the people that's in the baseball game if Charlie could play. Why? So then he goes and he plays, and right out of rehab hits a home run. And Tony Ty is baby blown away. Do you hear me? I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that with my own eyes. And I said, Tony, bro, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know you, no sir. But I don't feel like you in the right headspace to be having no friendship with a person that's in active recovery. I'm glad you want to encourage him to move his body, because that's key in recovery too. You gotta have a clean body and a clean mind. Move your body. Again, you showing him that his status as a celebrity gives him entree into situations that he wouldn't usually have, creating these situations where he gets to do what he want to do. It's just weird. I don't know. And maybe I'm just being a hard ass just because of my background. Oh, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. My man's again right into his lap. He go right into a hit show called Spin City. They didn't tell us whether he had to audition. He didn't have no struggle and strife. He didn't have to go like started from the bottom. Now we hear his vibes. He didn't have to do none of that. He came straight from rehab right into another hit show where he was getting paid millions of dollars to go over there and do something. Then on top of that, he got nominated for a Golden Globe. It's not that I don't believe that you can't be redeemed when you're in addiction, because you absolutely can. I just feel like there should be downtime. You know what I mean? There should be time to put boundaries in place. Decide what works for you and what doesn't. Decide what kinds of environments you need to be in. Decide what kind of people you're gonna have around you. Because if you on set and everybody on set is a dope fiend, hey, I don't know if that's gonna work out too well for your recovery. So now we hear from Denise Richards, who is Charlie's ex-wife, and he has 2 kids with her. And I tell you, I was shocked at their relationship because I don't keep up with Charlie Sheen, and I was damn near forced to hear about their divorce. The last time I heard from her, it was in the middle of a bitter, go down to the rope ass divorce where she basically accused him of like abuse, like having child pornography, and that she was worried about him being around their kids because the porn that he was addicted to and looking at had underage people in it. And I'm like, well, bitch, listen, let's pack a bag, Denise girl. You got to go. You got to get the fuck away from Charlie. That's the last time I heard from Denise. So I'm like, well, what the fuck you doing over here, lady? And please comment down below and let me know, because sometimes I blink my eyes or sometimes I got to get up and go to the bathroom or I might be eating chips or something. You know, I love a good chip, child. And they noisy. That's a noisy snack. Maybe I missed it. I say, girl, hey, now, you're an all-star, because what's going on, okay? Charlie and Denise click tight. At this time is where he gets 2.5 men, okay? And 2.5 men is where, at the height of that show, he was getting paid 2.8 million US American dollars per episode. Girl, please. Do you understand? A smooth $20,000 would change my life right now. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that show to see if that was worth it, baby. Because people just be out here giving away money to the wrong fucking people. Oh, girl, wait a minute. What I was saying? Because I done lost track. $2.8 million. That's crazy. So we hear from Chuck Lorre, who is like the creator of the show. And Chuck said he went on down to CBS to pitch the idea of these 2 people. One is like a hardworking, whatever the hell. And then another one is like he be in the club all the time. And he pitched the character that's in the club all the time as like a Charlie Sheen type character. Executives over there at CBS was like, well, can you get Charlie Sheen? And he was like, shit, I'll see. And then another fucking thing fell in the man's lap. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is wrong with my lap, bro? Is my lap defective? Like, what's going on? Like, am I not sitting correctly? Don't shit fall in my lap. Like, he just go out here just running all around, jumping up and down, doing stuff, smoking stuff, snorting stuff. And I was like, whoo, girl. I was like, listen, we also hear from John Cryer in this recap. I don't know what his name was in 2.5 Men. God damn it, that is Ducky. Do you understand? You got to try a little tenderness. All right, I love John Cryer. I hope he's not problematic either, bro. I just really get worried when I like, celebrities and stuff like that. And I just be like, oh, that's my boy. Oh, that's my girl. I gotta be thinking, Lord, please don't be problematic or racist or a trash ass person, because then that's gonna piss me off. So 2.5 Men is a huge hit and everybody loves it. And Denise Richards, his wife at the time, has had a baby. She's now on the show as somebody, child, I don't know. But he was drinking and using again. And his behavior on set became a little more problematic because he wasn't able to hide his usage again. She talked about how his temperament became bad or like short. He would be hollering at her and like hitting shit and throwing stuff around, and that it was really bad. This is when I thought she was going to address the things that she had said in the press and that were made known about their marriage. She didn't. She just kept alluding to the fact that it was bad and he put her through a lot and, just like generalities, which is cool. You ain't got to tell me your business, child. So him and Denise Richards are getting a divorce. So we also hear from his third wife, ex-wife, Brooke Mueller. She talked about like very briefly, talked about like when they got together. She was like, oh yeah, I remember him in this movie and I just loved him in Dirty Dancing. And a man was like, you know, he wasn't in Dirty Dancing, huh? And she was like, I said, okay, let me put a pin. Because why would you get up here and say that? So they quickly had 2 children. They had twin boys who had heart trouble. And then he said it just got to be too much. And then next thing you know, he was on crack again. I don't believe he was ever clean, because when we're seeing footage at this time of what was happening, the man looked like a goblin. His skin looked like potted meat. No tea, no shade. Next thing you know, Charlie and Brooke got into some shit, and she called 911, and it's all over Inside Edition and hard copy and shit that he done pulled a knife on her, and she scared for her life, and she don't know or whatever. Turns out she was, you know, on drugs as well, and they were both at wherever they was at using. And I was like, where them children was at? Okay, so now he got to get divorced from this wife. He's still actively using. At this time, Denise Richards is still in the picture. And Charlie and the other wife, the third one got popped, and they was in the middle of their, you know, addiction. Denise ended up taking Charlie twin sons from his third wife and raising them for a whole last year. And she like be taking care of Charlie. She go over and make sure he got food in the refrigerator and get the hoes out the house when the hoes don't want to leave, because you know he keep hoes with him. So he was still on 2.5 Men. And so they were at a crossroads about whether or not they were going to renew the show and whether or not he was going to go back and whatever. Despite him having a full-blown drug addiction and it being very well known, and him having legal issues and him having violent tendencies, they say, you know what? I got a money truck in the back, okay? I had already scheduled it. It's already full with the money. I'm gonna go ahead and back that thing up to your back door. Here, Charlie, go ahead and sign this contract for 2 more years. He said, all right, bet, shit. So we meet Marco. Marco is, they said on the screen, that's his drug dealer. Charlie said, that's my friend. And I said, pause. hold the line, okay? Huh? What kind of power imbalance are we talking here? Marco was, you know, slanging a little bit here, slanging a little bit there, and he get a call one day and say, hey, bro, I need you to go ahead and bring me a 8-ball. I don't know. I don't speak drugs. I don't know. So Marco said that he would get paid like $15,000 to $30,000 every time he would go over there by Charlie, and he would be by Charlie every day for weeks and months at a time. Then we hear about how Charlie Sheen had his Mercedes go down the bottom of like a cliff, or like a what you call that thing? A ravine. Yeah. Everybody was like, oh my God, Charlie Sheen dead. He done got high and drove off the road, and he dead on the side of the road off a cliff. Lord Jesus. And he wasn't in there. Okay. Somebody stole his car and drove it off a ravine. But not only did it happen once, it happened twice. When I tell you they literally gave us this information and didn't tell us nothing else about it, why would you tell me that and don't tell me what the issue was? Was it a body in the trunk? Was it insurance fraud? Like, was it a practical joke? What you told me that for? That's something that is a very rare occurrence. I would think. I don't know. I don't live in California. Do people cars just be going off ravines all the time? Comment down below and let me know if you live in California in a ravine area, ravine prone area. I don't know. The people at the 2.5 Men say, you know what? Enough of this shit. They fired Charlie from the show. It's Charlie, it's Tony Todd, and then like 2 other people. He in there, I'm telling you, the man looked like hog head cheese in the face. And I'm not trying to be shady. He just looked like some sort of processed, like potted, perishable meat. That's what his skin looked like. Charlie over here on some, I was too good for them anyway. Fuck them. They didn't know the genius they had when they had it. Now it's on to bigger and better things. Everybody in there giving him knuckles. Yeah, fuck them. Huh? He's surrounded by yes men and people that's not gonna tell him to go ahead and go to hell, okay? Because what you talking about? You got fired because you a dope fiend, sir. Everybody see this man as a meal ticket. Wasn't nobody saying nothing real to this man. I said, well, okay. This is when Charlie Sheen was winning, you know, like when he was just outside just talking. Like, I'm telling you, Charlie Sheen for maybe like 2 years would literally just be saying shit. Like, he did that terrible ass 2020 interview. 2020 had them interviews back in the day, baby, with Whitney Houston and Charlie Sheen and Britney Spears. Baby, 2020 was the vibe. And they had R. Kelly. Like, they messy though, huh? people who are in addiction, you have to let them be in addiction. Like, your love can't save them. They have to do it when they're ready. You have to watch them do stupid shit and just be terrible and put themselves in horrible situations. It's like you literally have your hands tied behind your back, your feet tied, and you got tape across your mouth. You can't say shit because it ain't gonna get through. And that's that's why I hate it. It's just terrible. They got a scene, bro, and that's why I don't think I would do well in Hollywood. Y'all just don't have a good reputation. Like, y'all, nothing really matter out there. I don't know. But anyway, they have a scene where some fucking asshole is like, you know, Charlie, we're gonna take you on tour. Because they want to do a tour with him so he could just go bump his gums and get high on the road. Okay, they want him to have a variety in the kind of crack he smoked. You know, you're an American outlaw. You know what I'm saying? And I just think what you're doing is brilliant because, you know, sir, just ask the man to write you a check, bro. You don't gotta glaze him up like that. You know the man is not well. You know what I'm saying? It's just so grimy. It's like a grime sandwich. My boy Charlie was packing out arenas. That's wild to me. It was all good until it wasn't, because, you know, then they started to turn on him. They started to boo him. You didn't get up here and said nothing. You wasn't talking about nothing. Pause. Ma'am, listen. You telling me you want me to be mad at Charlie Sheen, who is literally an active addiction, because he got up there and acted like he was an active addiction, and not be mad at you, the person who paid money to go see a person in active addiction? You ain't had to pay your money for that. You could have did that for free. Somebody in your community is on drugs right now. You can go over there and I'm more than sure they'll let you see them for $5 for 24 hours. You want me to be mad at Charlie? No, I'm mad at you, actually. Then we get a scene where we talking about Tony Todd again and how that he was there trying to support his friend Charlie. And I ain't got it. I ain't got it for that man. I don't know that man, no, but all I'm telling you is just my opinion. And I'm basing that off of what they told me and what I know support really is supposed to look like. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of the whole Tony being his friend and being there to support him, but also going with him for the ride when he was, you know, let me know. Same thing for Denise. In my opinion, making people who are in addiction that you want to come out comfortable in their addiction ain't helping them none. I'm not going to make you no goddamn turkey sandwich. I'm just not going to do it, okay? I'm also not going to sleep next door to you just in case you OD. You're not about to put that burden on me. If I'm doing everything I want to do, I'm okay, Nana. And I have no consequences. And somebody come and make me turkey sandwiches. And if I OD on accident, I got somebody right next door to make sure I don't die. Hell yeah, that's a nice, sweet ass situation for me. So in the last 20 minutes of the documentary is where he addresses all of the big allegations that have been levied against him. I don't give a shit who you are. You don't gotta tell us a goddamn thing about your HIV diagnosis. You don't gotta tell us whether you have a cavity or not. And also, thank God for medical advances in HIV/AIDS research, treatment, medication, and all of that. Because my God in heaven today, if you are old enough to remember back in the day, baby, when if you got HIV, that was it. And that was all. And in 2025, you can get HIV and become undetectable. Take your medication, you stay safe, you check in with your doctor, you good to go, you got a normal ass life. Isn't that wild? It just really don't seem like that long ago when HIV/AIDS was a for sure death sentence. Let me go ahead and give a trigger warning. I am about to talk about sexual assault of a minor. So if that's not something you need or that you can take in your spirit, I love you real bad. I'm gonna talk to you later, okay? There was an allegation levied by Corey Feldman that Charlie Sheen had raped Corey Haim on the set of a movie called Lucas back in the day when Charlie was 19 and Corey was 13. Corey Haim, at the time that this information came out, had passed away, unfortunately. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were literally used and abused, okay? Didn't nobody protect either one of them children. Didn't nobody advocate for them. Nobody believed them. I believe Corey Feldman is a victim as well. Because Corey Haim did not say Charlie Sheen's name, there's always been, is this true or is it not? In the documentary, Charlie Sheen says absolutely fucking not. There is another man, and I can't remember the man's name, who was also involved with that movie, Lucas, who Corey Haim's mother disclosed is the one who raped her son. Now, I always had a problem with his mama because, girl, what the fuck? Like, I always believe the victim, babe. I believe the victim every time, all the time. Okay, the man was assaulted. Like, it's like a known fact around the industry. And I just remember thinking, these poor children, all they wanted to do was go be in the movie. And they literally was just chewed up. And it's just so sad. I wish my children would say my mama will be an actor. Girl, you better, I will make you a stage in the backyard. And then as it relates to him sleeping with men, he just said, you know, I slept with men while I was getting high. I mean, what you gonna do? Exactly, nothing. Exactly. Toward the end of the documentary, a sober coach or somebody called Charlie drug dealer and said, "Say bro, how you doing? Can you make his drugs less druggy? Can you, like, you know, reduce it? Can you, like, take it down a couple notches on the drugs and stuff? Like, when you cooking the crack, can you just put less drugs in it?" And the drug dealer was like, "All right, I don't give a shit." So they did that for about a year, like slowly reducing the amount of drugs that he would put into the drug. I don't know how drugs work. I don't know. He said one day he was just like, you know what? Crack is whack. And then he just got clean. So at this point, he has been clean for 8 years, and he does not look high in this documentary. Okay, I was looking I had my magnifying glass out looking at them pupils, babe. I said, let me check your pupils, sir. Don't get up in here lying to me. He said he is a full-time father to one or both of his twins because the mama is still, you know, dealing with her issues. I'm talking about Brooke, the lady Brooke that he was married to. He is, you know, really stepping up and being a dad because he wasn't able to do that for a long time. He says that he has a good relationship with his family, including his father, who it would have been good to have him in here. But that's the end of the documentary. I felt like the documentary it could have gone further, especially because we hadn't heard from Charlie Sheen since he was outside acting crazy with himself in the early 2010s, I think. It didn't address a lot of things, or if it did, it like subtly addressed them. And then the director, I felt, was kind of like, damn, I can't believe I'm over here with Charlie Sheen. Dang, like I felt like he was kind of like fanboying a little bit, or whoever that was the voice we heard. I don't know. I'm assuming it's the director, but it could have just been, hell, I don't know, child. I just wonder why his family, other than his brother, didn't participate, and why they had like such a cursory like involvement in the documentary. It basically was just like him going over all the fucked up shit he did. And I was like, you don't want to tell us why though? Comment down below and let me know what you thought of AKA Charlie Sheen. Are you a Charlie Sheen fan? What do you think about all the things he said or did not say? I can't wait to talk to y'all in the comments, and I shall talk to you later. Bye. Doobie doobie doop doop doop.